Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Sinus Music. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and please go ahead and like the video if you like the video. It really helps out the channel. And today, we are going to be going over the When We Were Young lineup. Now, there's a lot of controversy that has been going around regarding this entire festival, whether that's legitimate or not, whether some bands knew that they were performing or not. For this video, we're going to be essentially casting all that aside, and we're only going to be looking at the lineup, and we are going to be using our friend, the tier maker list, to essentially go ahead and see, in order, what the rank is for the entire lineup. I am also going to be presenting a lot of records here that I have for bands that I really like, so on top of just doing the actual list itself and ranking them in order with the tier maker list, I am also going to be showcasing some vinyl that I have to showcase how excited I am to actually be going to this show. Without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at this lineup. Here we have our tier list. We can see S and then A to F, and then also don't know. I'm gonna do my best to try and explain everything that I can, but of course there's a lot of names on this list, so I'm gonna kind of skim through them pretty quickly, and then we'll just go from there. So let's start out with 303. 303 is a fun band that people really like, and they really get down to it. I personally never really cared enough to get into their stuff. I know the music is like really fun for people, and it's not really for me personally. It's not really my vibe. I apologize that, to all the people who are 303 fans, but it was never really much my thing. For the sake of this list, I'll put them at a C for now, and we'll see if artists move up or down the list. And now we move on to the All-American Rejects. All-American Rejects are incredible. I started following them when this album actually came out. This is Move Along, and of course all the bands and stuff are going to be, it's going to be flipped, so I apologize for that. The disc kind of looks a little bit like this. This is a Newberry Comics version of it. The first couple of albums were actually really amazing. Later on, I didn't really like the sound all that much, but for what they did at that time, they're an incredible sounding band. Watching the music video for Move Along on MTV or on VH1 or whatever the channels were, watching those and hearing the songs were just, it was something special. Everything on that album is really good. Everything on the first album was also great. Their next album, When the World Comes Down, is just incredible as well. I have that too on vinyl. I think Move Along is a good representation of where this band stands for me personally. This is going to be, should I put them in the A tier? S tier. It's a kind of a battle here. I'm not really sure. For now, let's put them in the A tier. We might move them up depending on how this goes. The next up is Acceptance. Acceptance is a band that I have never really heard of until very recently when I started watching this guy called Too Many Records. You should go ahead and subscribe to him. He's a great guy who showcases a lot of great artists. He's in a pop punk, and so I watched his videos on pop punk, and he recommended Acceptance. This was actually the album that he recommended, which is this one, Phantoms. This is an incredible album. It's a great pop punk album, great melodies. They're very catchy. The hooks are awesome. This is what the album looks like. Now, I don't have a lot of memories of them back in the day. This isn't hitting a nostalgia thing or anything, but I mean, I am into pop punk. So when I heard this sound of Acceptance, and I know this is an album that they recorded and then I think eventually just split up. This is something that I'm not really all too familiar with, but when I heard this album, I knew that they were a band that I had to see. So I'm going to put them on the B tier. This album's incredible. It's worth listening to, and I think that's where it goes. A Day to Remember is a great band. They're incredible. A Day to Remember's albums are very eclectic. They're very heavy, they're very aggressive, but they're also very catchy and very fun to listen to. I think one of their greatest albums, when they actually popped off, I believe, was this one right here. This one is Common Courtesy. This is a very hard album to find on vinyl for under $200, and I managed to snag it for about $90 somehow. I'm not really sure how the fuck that happened. It looks kind of like this, but in the light, you actually see it's very green. That whole album front to back is a masterpiece, I think, in my opinion, for pop punk. Homesick is also just, it's so good. It's so good. And because of their legendary status, the way their songs go, I mean, there's no other place to put them but in the S God tier for bands. AFI, the band who has gone through so many stylistic changes throughout their entire career. Horror punk to hardcore to more pop versions of that same style to whatever they're doing now. They've gone through a lot of stylistic changes, but the band is very good at what they do. The album that I have here is a bootleg. This is AFI's Sing the Sorrow, which is, in a lot of people's opinions, their best album. I think as well is a very, very good album. The reason why this is a bootleg is because the original is not very much in print at all and costs lots and lots of money, so this is saving me a bunch. This is what that looks like right here. Now, when you think about the legendary status of this band and how good they sound throughout the years, you have to give them credit where credit's due. I have seen them play at Coachella one year when I went. I forget the specific year that I went and saw them, but they were very, very good. December Underground is just an incredible album too, but that one's also very expensive and very hard to get, so in terms of a vinyl record, you can't underestimate their legendary status, but at the same time, every album is not for me. I'm gonna put them probably, they're legendary in the hearts of everyone, keep in mind, but I'm gonna put them in the B tier. I hope I don't get flamed. I hope I don't get hate for this. They are a great goddamn band and they are incredible. Actually, I'm moving them to A. I don't want any heat. A is a good spot for them. They're not S tier for me, but they are A tier. They're very good. So please don't come after me, please. Alkaline Trio, fronted by Matt Skiba, who now fronts Blink, but also does this too. Alkaline Trio, very horror pop punk. They're very good at what they do. I love their sound. Three-piece, beauty, love that stuff. Their sound is just incredible. I have this Alkaline Trio Damnesia on vinyl. This is what that looks like, and it has a nice etching on the back. Very pretty, very pretty. I think they're incredible. I love their sound. I love their tones. Their musicality behind it is on another level. Sometimes the songs can blend together a lot, but again, I don't want to say that and piss off a lot of people because I definitely genuinely love and adore Alkaline Trio. Everything about them is awesome. I am going to put them at the B tier. Anne Berlin. I don't have a copy of any Anne Berlin albums. However, I do like Anne Berlin's tone, I like their sound, but I never really listened to them. Feel Good Drag was on the radio a lot, but it just didn't resonate with me for some reason. I'm not really sure why. I don't know. I hope I don't get hate for this either. Going in the D list. They just didn't do it for me, so D tier, sorry. Armor for Sleep. Armor for Sleep is, man, I heard this album very recently, but it did something for me in other ways that I couldn't even imagine. This is Armor for Sleep's What to Do When You Are Dead. Car Underwater is like, just something else. Basement Ghost Singing is like the song that gets me in all the ways that it needs to be gotten. This is what the album looks like right here. They released only a handful of albums, but they're good too. So I really have no complaints about what the band's output is, especially that goddamn album right there, which is just on another level. So because of that reason alone, I'm going to put Armor for Sleep in the A tier. Atreyu. I hope I don't get hate for this either, but I never really listened to Atreyu all that much. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just because I wasn't in the right circle of people who would just push Atreyu onto me or not, but I just didn't really listen to them. Because of my lack of knowledge regarding the band, I'm going to put them in the C tier in the middle. Avril Lavigne. Avril Lavigne is something special. I mean, she was kind of the pop punk queen in a way. She always had that kind of status of like, she was there when all of it went down. I mean, it's fine. It doesn't really like get me in the way that, other things do. I understand her importance in the scene. I understand where she stands. I actually like her first album, but it wasn't actually that pop punk. It was more like pop rock. But later on, she got more pop punk, and I don't really think I like that all that much. So along with Anne Berlin, I'm putting her in the D tier. Bayside. I have a special place in my heart for Bayside. The first time I heard Bayside was actually an AMV, which if you don't know what an AMV stands for, that stands for an anime music video. I watched some. I mean, I was a young YouTuber. Like, I would watch a lot of YouTube videos online. I'd watch Nightcore videos, if you guys know what Nightcore videos are. I liked AMVs as well, and that's how I discovered some great music. One of them being Bayside. Specifically, the first song I heard was Montauk, and I was sold from there. I mean, they're that good. They're incredible. They're a great band. This is their acoustic album that I bought way back when they were selling this thing, which is their albums for some reason are hard to buy. once they're not sold anymore. They are really expensive too. But this one, I bought this one when it first came out. It has this green look to it. And for me, a lot of their songs hit in a good place that I like. The newer stuff is, it's okay, but it's not bad. I really just like their older stuff a lot better. I even like Shutter, which is an album that people don't really talk about all that much, but I do like it also. I saw them out in Hollywood one time when they were performing here for their album Cult, which I really enjoy as well. And I think because of the way that I feel about them personally, I'm gonna put them up in the A tier. I think the A tier is a pretty solid place for Bayside. I just think they're great. They've been going at it for a long time, and their sound is solid. Bring Me the Horizon. This is gonna be controversial. I am not that much of a fan of Bring Me the Horizon as everyone else is, and I don't know what it is. I didn't really care too much for their deathcore or grindcore kind of stuff when they first started out, and I really wasn't a fan of their newer, poppier stuff that has come out recently, and I didn't like the sound of their in-between Sempiternal era kind of stuff. I mean, Sempiternal's okay as an album, but Bring Me the Horizon does not do it for me. I'm gonna get hate for this. I'm gonna get so much shit for this thing. Oh god. I'm gonna put them in the D tier. I'm sorry. Don't hate me, please, but they're not for me. Boys Like Girls, their sound for the first two albums is incredible, and I love it. When I saw the lead singer performing with Tom DeLonge's signature guitar in a music video, I knew that they took inspiration from Blink, and I really like that, because I really like Blink. I mean, their first two albums were incredible, and then they made, I think, a country kind of twangy album, and I didn't really like that much. And because it kind of declined in quality from the first album all the way to the third album, I have to say that I'm going to put Boys Like Girls in the B tier. I love that first album so much. Bright Eyes. I'm sorry to those who like Bright Eyes. I have not listened to a single Bright Eyes song, so I'm going to put in the don't know. I'm sorry. Don't hate me. Please, God, don't hate me. Black Veil Brides. Not for me. And hey, this is not a knock on if you like them or not. I'm putting them here. Not really my style. Not a fan. I think the band themselves, like the entire group of people, are very cool people. Very chill. I'm never going to actively listen to their music. I'm not going to actively ever seek out their music at all. That's just how it is. Moving on to Car Seat Headrest. I tried listening to a couple songs from Car Seat Headrest. It did not do it for me, even remotely close. And I apologize for this, but they're also going in the F tier. The sound was not for me at all. It didn't vibe. Dashboard Confessional. Dashboard Confessional is an artist that I've always loved hearing on my iPod when I played it. I had all of his music. The sound of it was really clean and pristine. The songwriting itself was also really, really awesome and very catchy and very cool. And I always dug his voice. I always enjoyed the instruments he chose to use on certain songs, the way he layered everything down. This is the album that I got from him, Dusk and Summer. This is what that looks like. And I have to say, I'm very excited to see Dashboard Confessional live. So I have to say that Dashboard Confessional, for me, goes in the A tier. Dance Gavin Dance is a very interesting band. My friend Jared absolutely adores Dance Gavin Dance with a passion. That is his favorite band. Does not ever stop talking about them, does not stop playing their music, and I've seen them live and they sound just amazing live. They sound very spot on. Their vibes are very cool. A lot of what they do is just interesting, experimental, very flashy, and I dig it. This is their album here, Instant Gratification. This is what that looks like right here. And I think that overall they're going to have a really great performance no matter where they go, no matter what they do. They do good stuff. A tier. A tier is a good place for them. 4 Years Strong. I fucking love 4 Years Strong. I feel like they have never put out a bad album, even in some way, shape, or form, which people fucking hate. I love that album. I bought that on CD. I bought it on vinyl. This is Enemy of the World, which is people love this fucking album, and I do too. It's very, very good. This is what that looks like. To me, they have never put out anything bad, and I absolutely adore the ever-loving shit out of 4 Years Strong, and they are just so prolific and so good. Along with The Day to Remember, they go on the S tier band. Glassjaw is a really cool band that I just recently got into, and the reason why is because of this album, Coloring Books. This is a very special vinyl, and I'll show you what it looks like. This album comes in 3 pieces, so bear with me as I get them. The first piece is the outer ring, which has songs on it. It has music on this outer ring here, and it looks kind of like this. The middle portion has music on it, and it looks like this. In the very, very center of it all is this 7-inch. And the way that you do it is you put them together, and it makes a full album on the turntable. It's a fucking nightmare to play when you want to do it in sequence, but it is playable as one giant album, but it still is a fucking nightmare to play. The music itself is outstanding, and I really like what they do with their tones and their vibes overall, and I think that they deserve a spot in the B tier. Good stuff. I like it. Hawthorne Heights. I love their sound. It's very, very, emo and very, very of the time. I don't really have a lot to say about Hawthorne Heights, but I know their legendary status. I know people love them to death, and I like them a lot too, so they go in the B tier. Horror Pops. Never heard of Horror Pops? They go in the don't know. Sorry. I Prevail. I think I Prevail got famous because they did a Taylor Swift song. I think Blank Spaces or whatever. I don't really dig that sort of thing. For myself, I'm not trying to, be anyway, but that's not my deal, so sorry. F tier. Ice Nine Kills. I don't really know what they sound like overall. I'm sorry about that. I just know that they're really legendary, so I'm putting them in the C tier. Jimmy Eat World. Jimmy Eat World is an incredible band that I just absolutely adore and absolutely love with a passion. This is a band that has held a special place in my heart. I've played their songs live. I've listened to them all the time. They're incredible. This is their album Futures, which I think is one of their best albums they've made. This is what that looks like. And because of how legendary they are, I'm putting them along with the others in the S God tier level. Jaden, I don't know who Jaden is, so I'm putting them in the don't know. Kitty, also never heard of Kitty, so putting them there. Knocked Loose is a very special band. They're making their way up in the hardcore scene. Everyone's starting to love them. They're very cool. I love their sound overall. This is their EP, A Tear in the Fabric of Life. This is what this looks like. And because of how good their albums are, from front to back, I'm going to put them in the A tier. I think they're very good, and I think they're worth a listen if you're into hardcore. Moving on to La Dispute. La Dispute is very good. I really enjoy their stuff. You see all the memes of like a white kid screaming and then putting it to like some alt stuff. That's La Dispute. I'll put them in the C tier. I think they're great. I think their stuff is good, but I don't actively seek it out all that much, but I think it's very good stuff, and I think people really will like them. Little Huddy. F tier, easy. Next, Manchester Orchestra. Their album, A Black Mile to the Surface, which I have right here. This is what that looks like right here. It's such an incredible, slow-paced album, and it doesn't really fit anywhere on this list in terms of, like, stylistically the same, but I personally love Manchester Orchestra, and because of that, I'm putting them in the A tier. Mayday Parade. I fell in love with them when I first heard them off of A Lessons in Romantics, which is this right here. This is what the album looks like. Their self-titled album is the one that is just like the best thing I've ever heard. Anywhere But Here is also like such a good album for emo, pop punk, things like that. So because of how awesome their sound is, I'm going to put Mayday Parade in the A tier. My Chemical Romance. I don't think I need to say anything about My Chemical Romance. I'm not going to. This is their album, Black Parade. This is what that looks like over here. And because of how legendary they are, I don't think I need to speak any more than just putting them in the S tier. Meet Me at the Altar. Sorry, never heard of them. Motionless in White. I understand how important they are in the scene. I'm gonna put them in the C tier. Mom Jeans. I really like the sound of Mom Jeans. I really like what they're doing with their new album, especially that's gonna come out. I think because of that, I'm gonna put them safely in the B tier. We'll see where they go from there. Neck Deep. A lot of pop punk kids like Neck Deep. They're very good. They're very prolific. I think there's another band that is coming up later on this list that does a little bit better than them, in my opinion, but Neck Deep is good. I am putting them in the B tier. Nessa Barrett, I believe is what it is. Sorry. Don't know. Palais Royals. I'm not really sure how you say that, unfortunately, and because of that, I don't really know. Paramore, God tier band. Every album they've done has been incredible, but this one I have to say is my absolute favorite. Brand New Eyes. You can't beat this album. Can't beat it, in my opinion. This is what that looks like. And I think because of how legendary they are, how they've changed their sound over time, how good their early stuff sounded, how good their new stuff sounds, everything they've done is very just incredible. Hayley Williams' work alone is just awesome too. Like, everything they do is great, so I'm putting Paramore in the S tier. Pierce the Veil. Pierce the Veil is a band that I personally love from their time doing this right here, which is the Collide with the Sky. Great fucking album. This is what that looks like. And I think just because of how good their sound is, but they never really you don't really hear much about them nowadays, I'm gonna put them in between, it's either A or B. I'll put them at A tier. A tier is good. Poppy is a great artist. Very unique sound, very unique thing she's doing. It sounds awesome. It's very aggressive and very not and very just, it's all over the place, but overall I do like it. I'm going to put Poppy in the B tier, and I hope to hear more good things. Prentice, haven't really heard. Paris never really did it for me. I hate to say it, and I'm going to get flamed for this, but I don't care too much for Paris at all. They're not my thing. I'm putting them in the D tier. Sorry. No, sorry. I'm putting them in the F tier. I'm sorry. I hope I don't get shit for that, but not really my thing. The Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. God tier band. They're incredible. Their sound has just been solid for a while. And I love the vocals. I love the instrumentation. I mean, it's all good stuff. Because of how their sound is, because of what they do, they go in the A tier. Royal and the Serpent, I've never heard of, I'm sorry. I hope I don't get hate for any of these bands that I don't know in the bottom corner, the bottom section here, but that's just the truth. Seosin, holy shit, Seosin is very good. I love their stuff with Cove, I love their stuff with Anthony Green, and Anthony Green is actually going to be performing with them for this lineup, which is going to be sick. This is the album that they did together with Anthony Green. This is a later album, and I guess they're working on new material, but this is the album that I also love, along with their EP with Anthony Green, which is just on a whole other level, especially the drumming. This is what that looks like. And overall, I am very excited to see them perform. I think they're going to be really awesome. I'm putting them also in the A tier. Senses Fail is another one of those bands that is just on another level of creativity, of emo-ness. They're really fucking good. Their album's Still Searching right here. This is a heavy one, and that's what this looks like right here. Their sound, their tone, what they go for, I think it's just really, really, really awesome, and I've always had a soft spot for them, so I'm putting them on the S tier. State Champs. State Champs, I hear good things, but I just don't really listen to them all that much. Putting them on the C tier. Story of the Year is a very good band as well. I just think they sound great. I'm putting them safely in the A tier. A band that was not listed, and I'm surprised it's not, is Silverstein. Silverstein is an incredible artist, very prolific. A lot of their material is very good. This is what it looks like. I'm very excited to see them live. It's gonna be awesome. I'm putting them in the A tier. So imagine Silverstein is in the A tier. That's where they belong. Sleeping with Sirens. I really love Sleeping with Sirens. Their first two albums and their EP are really good. This is the second album. Let's cheers to this. This is what it looks like. And I think they safely belong in the A tier. I think they're really, really good because their later albums didn't really do it so much for me, but their first two albums were something special. Taking Back Sunday is just an awesome band. I've seen them live. They sound so good. Everything about them is just incredible. I'm putting them in the S tier. The Garden, don't really know. The Lindas, don't really know. The Main, people love The Main. They're a good band, but I don't actively seek their music. So because of that, I put them in the C tier. The Ready Set, I never really listened to. I don't really know all that much about the Ready Set, so I don't know. I'll put the Ready Set in the D tier. The Starting Line is an incredible pop punk band. Sounds awesome. Their albums fetch for a lot of money on Discogs. I really like their sound. I like what they're about. A tier. The Story So Far. I love The Story So Far. They are so clean, so good. I love everything they sound like, everything they're about. The tones of their albums are just so special. This is their first album, Under Soil and Dirt. This is a picture disc, so that's what it looks like. And I think this band, without a question, belongs in the S tier. The Used is another band that is just so good. So good. What they do is just on another level entirely in terms of emo. This is their album In Love and Death. This one actually has the bonus track Under Pressure. It's on black vinyl, but this is the only version that has the Under Pressure cover. And because of how prolific they are, I believe they go in the S tier. The Wonder Years are a really popular band that people really love to death. I personally haven't really sought out their music all that much, but I understand how important they are. I put them in the B tier. Thursday is a great band that everyone loves in the scene. This is their album Full Collapse. This is what that looks like. And because of how good they sound, because of just what they're about, I'm gonna put them in the A tier. TV Girl, haven't heard of. We the Kings is next. I fell in love with when I first heard them a long time ago. And this is the last vinyl that I have. This is their first album. It's self-titled, and it looks like this. And I love their sound. I love what they're about. I recognize that some of their later stuff isn't all that fantastic, but I do like their earlier stuff, so I put them in the A tier. Wolf Alice is last, which is right here. I haven't really given too much of a chance yet, but I hear that it's incredible stuff. I'm not going to discount it. I'm not going to deny it. So overall, Wolf Alice goes in the B tier. And so this is what the tier list looks like right here. This in all of its glory. And there you go. That's the list. That's what my thing looks like, and hopefully you guys don't flame me too much for not listening to certain bands or putting bands where they are. That's just my personal opinion. You don't have to like it, but I just really enjoy pop punk, and I like listening to a lot of different stuff, so hopefully you guys like the video. Hopefully you guys subscribe if you do, and overall, yeah, can't wait for this festival, which people think is a scam. I don't really know, but this is like my tier list, and I hope that you guys enjoy the video, and I hope that it's going to be a good time, even if bands might get like 15-20 minutes to play per set. I don't really care. I'm just excited to see all these bands in one place. So until then, I'm just going to have to wait, and hopefully you guys dig the material. That's all I got to say. Peace out, peeps.